So today is going to be the last class on web application penetration testing's demo. And again, we are supposed to be covering a new tool today, which is called Burp Suite. Now, basically, Burp Suite is your web application proxy, guys. So if I explain this with the diagram, basically, when your client needs to send data to a server, it sends it in the format of something called requests. So here, if this is my browser here, and if this is a server, it sends requests and it receives responses back. Okay. And there's no way of capturing those and understanding what's being sent or being received in these requests and responses. So that's why what we can do is we can install a tool called Burp Suite on our own system itself on a port 8080. That's the default port on which Burp Suite runs on. Okay. And now we can assign that port as a proxy for our system. So whenever any traffic is initiated now, rather than directly going to the server here, it first comes to Burp Suite on this port number, where you can analyze and read the request and then forward it to the server. So it's acting as a proxy in between to capture the requests that you're initiating from your browser and then read those requests as well. Okay. And in those requests, sometimes some vulnerabilities are hidden, which you can find with Burp Suite. Okay. So it allows you to capture the request, modify the request and read and again alter it according to your needs. Okay, so let's try to learn this now a bit practically. So what we're going to learn today is the first vulnerability, file upload vulnerability. So if I go to my notepad file, yeah. So again, this vulnerability involves where attackers are allowed to upload malicious files to a server. So again, most of the times websites have a functionality where they might ask the clients to upload certain files. So if the website is asking to upload images, it should only allow you to upload extensions of that certain file type. So for images, it should only allow uploading files as IMG, JPG, JPEG, or PNG. It should not allow you to upload any other files or other extensions such as exe or PHP. If it is allowing you to upload any file of your choice, then that is known as a file upload vulnerability. Hackers can upload malicious files and try to get remote connection to servers if they are allowed to upload exe files or PHP files. Okay. So now to test this vulnerability out, we're going to work on a Metasploitable system. So your Metasploitable also comes pre-installed with a few vulnerable websites of its own. So if I log in here with my credentials, right now my Metasploitable is getting the IP 0.7 if you notice over here. And now if I go back to my Kali system, if I open up my terminal here, in my terminal now I can, again, if I try to ping, you can see that device is at, oh, sorry, 0.7. That device seems to be in my same network. I'm able to reach it. Now, since I'm able to reach it, if I go to my browser and in my browser, if I access that IP now, you would notice that IP actually has a few websites on it. Oh, sorry, proxy is enabled. Let me switch off the proxy first. Right. So now when I refresh this website, you can see Metasploitable has a few websites on it. These websites are specifically built for web application pen testing practicals. So there's one website here called DBW, which stands for Damn Vulnerable Web Application. Okay, so this is specifically built for you to learn web pen testing. Username and password is mentioned here itself. So you can log in with the credential username admin and password as password itself. Okay. And you can notice this is a vulnerable website. So again, built specifically to aid or to be a tool for security professionals to test their skills and tools in a legal environment. Okay. Helps web developers better understand the process of securing websites. Okay. So now this website contains a lot of vulnerabilities in it. And one more good feature about this website is it has a security level. So you can modify the security level to low, medium, or high. Low means the most vulnerable and high means the most secure. Okay. So if I put this to low now, okay, and now if I go to my file up, file upload vulnerability tab here, you can notice it is asking us to choose an image to upload. So what I can do now is I can just go to my browser, search for some random image to download. Let's say if I search for dogs. Let's say I just download any random image from here. Save image as, let me save it to my pictures folder here. Dogs1.jpg. Okay. Now, if I go back to this website, if I browse and select that file, docs1.jpg, and if I click on upload, you can see that file is successfully uploaded. So this website is allowing us to upload images. And it also seems to be showing me the path where the file is being uploaded. So it's dot dot slash hackable uploads docs1.jpg. So dot dot slash indicates one step backwards. So again, if I copy this path over here, and if I go 2 steps backwards here, so excluding hash, which is my present working directory, I can go 2 steps backwards here. Step 1, uploads, and then step 2, vulnerabilities. And if I remove that and paste the remaining path, and if I hit enter, you can see it shows that image, which means it's successfully uploaded here. Now, what a hacker would try to do is he would try to figure out if this website is allowing not only images, but other file types as well. So if I click on browse, and if I go to my desktop, they're seeing, oh, there's nothing on desktop. Let me create something. Let's say we create a text file here. Let's call this sample.txt. And let's write some content in this. Testing, file upload, vulnerability. Vulnerability. And it works. Okay. So I've just written some random content in that file. If I go back here, and now if I browse my text file, and if I try to upload this, you can see even that file is successfully uploaded. If I copy that path, if I paste it here, and if I hit enter, you can see it shows the same data here, which means this website is also allowing us to upload text files. If it is allowing text files, hackers could also upload malicious exe files or executables and perform a lot more attacks as well. Now, the question that arises here is why are we using burp suit for this? To use burp suit now, let me increase the security. So again, if I go to DVW security now, this is very insecure. So when I put it to medium security now, and if I go back to this website, if I try to upload an image, let's say if I upload this file here, you can see images are successfully uploaded. But if I try to upload a file, a text file, sample.txt, you can see this is throwing an error. So now they have increased the security of the website. They're not allowing you to upload any other file other than an image. So again, if you scroll down in DVW, you can also check the source code of the website. And in the source, you can see they've written a script where they're checking what type of file is being uploaded. So if you're uploading an image with a JPEG extension file type, and if the size is below this limit, only then the file is successfully uploaded. If these conditions are not satisfied, your image is not uploaded. So here, to bypass these settings, to bypass these conditions, we can use burp suit now. So this is the client-side code where they're trying to check what type of a file is being uploaded. Okay, so now what I can do is I can start up my burp suit application. So I'll search for burp suit here. I'll click on next, click on start burp, and this is what it looks like basically. So again, as mentioned, guys, this is a web pen testing tool. Again, we might not be able to cover it in our CH course because it's a very huge tool, covers a lot of tabs for various parts of testing. But one of the most important tabs here is the proxy tab, where basically it can capture all the requests and show you what that request looks like. Okay, so if you go to the proxy settings here, you can see burp suit runs on your system on 127.0.0.1, your loopback IP, and the port 8080. So that setting needs to be enabled in your browser. So I'll put this on one side and I'll put my browser on the other side. So let me expand this here. Yeah, and the browser here on the other side. So I'll go to settings here. And in the settings now, I'll go to network settings here at the bottom most. And here I'll enable a manual proxy with the IP 127.0.0.1 and port 8080. So now I'm telling my browser, use the burp suit as a proxy for this. Okay. So now once that is done, and now if I try to upload any file, so if I click on browse, and if I select any sample file, let's say if I go to my pictures, if I select my file here, dogs1.jpg, and if I click on upload, Now you would notice, oh, 1 second, sorry, I have not put the interceptors on. I have to enable the intercept here. And now once intercept is enabled, if I now browse and select a file, and if I click on upload, you can see it now pops up in burp suite here. So the request keeps on loading because now the request has been captured here in burp suite. And this is the request type. So basically it shows you all the headers in the request. So it is showing, okay, what type, what web page you're visiting, what is the IP of that web page, what browser you're visiting, what language is being accepted, what encoding is being accepted. These are called as HTTP headers. Okay, so cookies and all are visible here. And then it shows you what is the file name you're uploading. And this is the file content actually. So the image is getting encoded here. So you don't see the image, you see the data that is encoded as an image. And now when I click on forward here, you can see that image is successfully uploaded. Now the request gets through. But now what we are trying to do is we are trying to upload a text file. So I'll browse and select the text file now. And now when I click on upload again, you can see it shows the text file here, sample.txt, and the data inside that text file. Okay. And if you notice here, it says content type is text/plain. So this website was only allowing content type of image/JPEG. But what we have is text/plain. So when I click on forward, it throws me an error. It doesn't upload the file. Okay. When I'm uploading an image, so if I browse and select an image, and when I click on upload, you can see content type is image/JPEG. So this type is being allowed. Okay. But when I'm trying to upload a text file, it has a different file type. So that's why now with burp suite now, we can modify that. So we can tell the browser, we're not uploading a text file. We are uploading an image itself, image/JPEG. Although we are still uploading a text file, sample.txt, we are telling the browser, no, this is not a text file. This is an image itself. And now when I click on forward, you can see that file is successfully uploaded. So this is how you can trick the browser and bypass these security measures with burp suite, modify the request according to your needs, and again, find these vulnerabilities. So this is one good usage of burp suite, guys. Capturing the request, modifying the request according to your needs, and then sending those requests. Is that clear? Arif, Umesh? Sorry, come again, Arif? That's a Trojan connection. Here, we're not trying to send any image and get a remote connection. This is just trying to show you how we can bypass these security measures. So basically, as mentioned, when a web server is asking you to upload images, okay, we have to only upload images. We are only supposed to allow images to be uploaded. But if a hacker is being, sorry? Yeah, that's for yourself. Again, exactly. So, but again, when a web server is asking you to upload image and if you're able to upload other files as well, that is the vulnerability there, the file upload vulnerability. So, if it is asking you to upload an image and if you're able to upload an exe file, through that exe file, you can get a remote connection. So, bypassing that security measure to upload an exe file instead of an image is what this burp suite allows you to do. Okay, if the vulnerability exists. So, that's what we try to do here. It was not allowing us to upload that text file earlier. But then I modified the request in a certain way where again, even though it is a text file, I made it look like it's an image. And then I uploaded the file and it worked successfully. Right. Right. So again, if you notice over here, let me show it one more time. So earlier, so if I try to click on browse and if I select a text file, sample.txt, and if I click on upload, you can see I'm sending a text file now in the request. So when I click on forward, when it's a text file, when I click on forward, it throws an error. It says your image is not uploaded because it's only allowing images. But now what we can do is we can try to upload the same text file again. And now we can modify this data in the request. So we can tell the server, we are not sending a text file. This is an image itself. So we are trying to trick the server into believing that this is an image that we are sending, although it is still a text file. Okay, so we're trying to bypass the security there, image slash JPEG. And now when I click on forward, you can see earlier the file which was not uploaded now gets successfully uploaded. Is that clear, Arif? Right. Umesh and Dale, any questions? Hello? Guys, any questions up to this point? Umesh and Dale. Okay, right. Moving forward, let's try to find one more vulnerability with WebSuite, guys, called broken authentication. So now this involves another website called Mutility. So again, available still on your Metasploitable IP itself. So if I put the intercept as off for now. So there's a website called Mutility. This is another test website available in your Metasploitable framework, and it contains the top 10 vulnerabilities to test. So we're going to work on these websites in our advanced course to find all these vulnerabilities in the upcoming sessions. So there's one vulnerability called broken authentication. Okay, and this involves you to modify the cookies and login as other users. Now you might have a question, what are these cookies? So whenever you go to a new website, you sometimes get a pop-up saying accept cookies. So what are these cookies? So basically these cookies are tokens for your identification, guys. What I mean by that is, for example, if you log into facebook.com, and when you log into Facebook, the first time when you log in, you have to enter your credentials, guys, username and password. Now, every time you visit a different page in facebook.com, rather than you entering your credentials to identify yourself, what the server does is it assigns a cookie. A cookie is like a string of characters. So with every request that you make to the server, every time you make a request to the server, from your side, from your client side, a cookie is sent. Okay, because that cookie is assigned to you by the server itself, identification. Okay, so if that cookie was not existent, you would have to enter your credentials every single time you change the page. So again, to identify yourself to the server, you have to tell them, I'm the user, show up with my username and password. So rather than you having to enter your username and password every single time when you make a request, the server assigns a cookie. And if those cookies are weak, if they're not so strong enough, hackers can modify those cookies and log in as other users. Let me show you an example for this. So here, there's a login page. In this login page now, if I don't have an account, I can create an account here. So let's say register here. I can give a username, let's say Arif, password Arif at the rate 123, and then confirm password Arif at the rate 123, and signature, let's say hint A at the rate 123. So I've created a new account now for the user called Arif. So now when I try to log in next time, so if I go to login page here, and now let me enable my proxy as well. Okay. So if I enter the username Arif and a password, Arif at the rate 123, and if I click on login, you can see that request is captured in my burp suite here. Okay. Visiting this web page, this login page here on this IP address, and the credentials that I'm sending are username Arif and the password Arif at the rate 123. So at the rate is converted to URL encoding percentage 40. Okay. And now when I click on forward, you can notice the server now provides me a cookie here. This UID 18 is my cookie. Okay. So the server verified my credentials and it provided me a cookie, username, user ID 18. And now when I click on forward, you can see I've logged into RF account. Now with every web page I visit, so if I click on any website here, if I click on anything, if I click on home, you can see with every request I make, the cookie is being sent in that request. Okay, so when I click on forward, I go to the home page. If I click on toggle hints, you can see with every request I make, my cookie is being sent. Okay, now what I can do is I can log out one more time. So I'll log out once and I'm going to log in one more time again. But this time, rather than giving my actual cookie, so I'll click on forward. Just a second, guys. So let me put the intercept off and broken authentication login and close all this back. back. Mm-mm. Yeah, much better. So I'll go to login page here. Yeah, much better. So now when I try to log in with my credentials, username Arif again, and password arif@123. I'll click on login. I've got the credentials here. I'll click on forward, and the server assigns a cookie to user ID 18. Now, what I can do is I can modify this user ID. So rather than 18, if I mention 17 here, and if I click on forward, carefully observe what happens. Now, I'm logged into a completely different account, Hiren@123. As you can see, I didn't know the username for Hiren. I didn't know the password for Hiren. All I gave is the credentials for user Arif. But I got login access as a completely different user. Similarly, if I log out as well, and if I log in one more time, and this time, if I give the credentials of Arif, if I click on login, if I click on forward, and this time if I modify 18 to 1, and if I click on forward, you can see I have admin access as well, because usually admin is the first account in a website. And now, without even knowing the credentials for admin, just by modifying the cookie to admin user ID as 1, I got admin access. This is also commonly known as privilege escalation, escalating your privileges from a normal user account to a higher value user account, an admin account. Okay, all of this is happening just because Burpsuit is allowing us to watch what those cookies are and modify those cookies, the user ID values and the session ID values. Okay. And with that modification, we are able to log in as other users without even knowing what their credentials are. We're getting their system access or their user access. And that is called as broken authentication. Okay, so the authentication is not right. So these cookies that are used here should not be very simple plain numbers, guys. They should use some very complex algorithm to generate a string of characters. If they're very plain numbers, if they're using weak algorithms, hackers can modify those cookies and log in as other users. So that is called as broken authentication. Is that clear? Arif, Indale, Umesh. Again, might seem a bit complex for now, guys, but basically, Burpsuit allows you to capture these requests and find a lot of these vulnerabilities in websites. So, with different things that you can modify in the request, you can find different types of vulnerabilities, and Burpsuit helps you with that. With the Pro version tool that is included in the advanced course, we can also find automated vulnerabilities. So, in the Burpsuit application, so right now, since this is a free version, you don't have access to the dashboard tab here. This is locked. You can't click on New Scan, as you can see. But in the advanced course, I'll be sharing this pro version tool for free. So it's around $450, but I'll be providing that tool for free to you, where we can also perform automated testing. And with that automated testing, Burpsuit itself tells you what web page contains what vulnerabilities. And from that, we can perform vulnerability assessment again. So this is just like your Nessus tool, but for websites. So I'll be providing this tool for free in the advanced course. So the course is priced, again, something which is much cheaper than this value actually. Okay, but still you're gonna get this too. So yeah, that's about it, guys. Nothing further for our session regarding the website pen testing. And again, as promised, I do have to share you a few important resources. So again, I'll be sharing these resources to you at the end of this class. Around almost 2 GB or so, guys. So if I check the file size, it's around 2.27 GB, if you notice. And it contains a lot of books, a lot of resume samples, a lot of interview questions, and some Udemy courses as well on Splunk. Okay. So these are the books which I would recommend, the best books available for again different domains in cybersecurity. For Kali Linux ethical hacking book, for Linux cheat sheets, for modern web pen testing, for Nmap related commands, for penetration testing, malware analysis, okay, IoT hacking, bug hunting, okay, so whatnot. There's tons and tons of books available here. Okay. And along with that, I've also included the courseware material, the material that is usually provided from EC Council only if you register for the certification, but I've included that as well. It's a huge courseware book available from EC Council. It's around, I think, 1,000 or 2,000 pages or something, if I remember correctly. Yeah, sorry, much more than that, 3,000 pages. Okay, the entire material from EC Council. Okay, this book is only provided to people who register for the certification exam, guys. But again, I've included that book also over here. Okay, so time permits, you can go through this as well. Very theory book again, but again explains a lot of concepts in depth. Okay. And along with that, as mentioned, there's a few Udemy courses on Splunk for SOC analysis. So you can go through this as well when time permits. So this content itself here is among, I would say, at least 15 to 20,000 rupees or so. Okay. And again, as mentioned, I'll be sharing this file to you over the email. So I already have this file uploaded on my Google Drive. So I'll be sharing that link to you by the end of this class today. Okay. So that concludes the entire course, guys. Nothing further for our sessions. This is our last session here. But again, please note, just because our sessions are ending, it doesn't mean our contact should end. You have my contact number. So if you have any questions, even from here on as well, related to our course or any other course in cybersecurity, you can still contact me for your questions, guys. I'll be there to assist. Okay. I assume you might not have gotten enough time to practice the earlier concepts, but in the future as well, whenever you practice any of these concepts, and if you get stuck somewhere, you have my number to contact me. Okay. And yeah, that's that, guys. Any questions, or do you need any assistance regarding anything else? Any- Yeah, again, as mentioned, it contains interview questions, it contains resume samples, and books on a lot of other topics on cybersecurity. Arif. Yes, Arif. Yeah. Yes. So you can contact your consultancy and let them know that the training is done. And they're going to get into the process of resume preparation and all that separately. Uh, I will. For today's and yesterday's class, I will share the recording. Come again? I didn't get you. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, sure. I've shared the link to you already on your email for the classes. Okay. So you can join the sessions on Monday. Sure, Arif. That's it. Nothing for sure, sure. Definitely. No worries, Arif. Thanks, guys. Thanks for putting up with me. I'm so sorry if I've troubled you with some gaps in between here and there. Apologies for that. Thanks for again bearing with me. And again, it was a pleasure teaching you all. And yeah, please do let me know if you have any queries, if you have any questions, as mentioned. Just because the course is ending, our contact shouldn't. So again, if you need any assistance as such, I'm always available related to anything related to cybersecurity. Okay. Bye, indeed. Bye, Umesh. Bye, Arif. Sure. Mhm. Yeah, again, as mentioned, India, I think I've mentioned this in the earlier sessions as well. There is an advanced course which I teach, this on web application pen testing. So I've also shared the course outline for it over the email in the earlier sessions. If not, I'll share it today again. So I'm planning on starting a new batch from tomorrow, actually. So if you are interested, you can join a demo for that. It's at 7 a.m. in the morning, my time. So we're taking classes at 7. No, no, that is something which I teach privately, and it's not through Durgasoft. It's an advanced course which I teach privately to other students, as mentioned. So again, no, no. Again, I'll be sharing the course outline to you directly on your email. So I think I already provided this earlier. So this is the course outline actually. Okay, so I'll be sharing this documentation. So it's all about web application pen testing. I explained about this in the last session, in yesterday's class. So it works on a framework called OWASP Top 10, finding vulnerabilities in websites. Again, a very important course for people. And this is the next step after learning CEH. So an advanced course to give open up a lot more job opportunities in the web application testing domain. Okay. So if needed, I'll share this document with you. And again, I'll share the class link as well. You can join tomorrow at 7 a.m. my time. So if you're in a different time zone, if it's in IST, oh sorry, EST, so my 7 a.m. should be yeah, 9:30. Yeah. No, no. Oh, sorry. 7 a.m. My bad. My bad. 7 a.m. 7 a.m. is your 9:30 p.m. in the night. Yeah, 9:30 p.m. your night. So again, right, right. I know. We have a separate batch for that. You'll be joining on my Monday at morning slots and my morning again. So again, around the same time. Sure. So, and if you're interested, I can share the link for this class tomorrow at your night 9:30. Do you want me to share the link? Okay, sure, sure. I will share the link and this documentation as well, and the course related details, the price and the course duration and all that over the email. Sure, sure, sure. Arif. I'll share my bank account details to you separately. Sure. Okay, Arif. Bye bye. I'll share the recordings as well. Sure. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Bye, Umesh. Take care. Umesh, are you interested? Will you be joining this session tomorrow in the morning? Do you want me to send you the link as well? Definitely. Sure, sure. Umesh, no worries. I'll share the link to you as well. Bye bye. Have a good day.